Hey, it's Wes, and on today's show, I'm going to be joined by Dieter Kurtenbach to talk about LeBron's decision, what makes it such interesting content, and how we think he's going to make his announcement of where he plans to sign. Let's jump in. All right, really excited for today's show, which is streaming live on YouTube right now. It's about 1:35 Eastern time on Tuesday. I'm here with Dieter Kurtenbach, sports columnist, and my former colleague over at the Bay Area News Group. And more importantly, one of my favorites to have these kinds of big picture conversations with, because right now, Dieter, as you know, biggest story in the NBA is LeBron James and his decision of where he's going to play next season. We've talked about it a ton on this show, every show. Everybody's talked about where they think he should sign, where he might sign, and all these things. We're not going to do that today, although it may certainly come up. But Chris Haynes and Shams on Monday both reporting that LeBron has all of his information, all of his voicemails, everything he needs now, and is in the process of making his decision. He has appearances later this week in New York, where he's going to be hosting a live episode of his Mind the Game podcast on Thursday, and then the shop on Friday. And some people are speculating that he could make an announcement around these events, but we don't know for sure. So there's a bunch of stuff that I want to talk to you about. Just a reminder for the listeners, make sure that you hit subscribe, follow us on your favorite podcast app. RealGM Radio is also streaming live more and more throughout the week, so make sure you subscribe on YouTube so you can tune in. Hit that subscribe button right now. All right.
Do it.
Dieter, I've heard a ton of basketball podcast talking people talk about how they can't wait for this to be over. Do you feel the same way?
I mean, functionally, yes. Right? I would like resolution to a thing that pertains to me in my job, but at the same time, what's the rush? What does LeBron James need to get in line for? He's not asking for money. Everyone's got a spot for him. There's no reason to rush this thing. I'm not saying he goes full Jonathan Kuminga and we ride this thing out until September, but like, if he wants some time to think about it and he's capable, this is the difference between a LeBron James and a Dieter Kurtenbach, and there's really only one or two. Apparently, he's physically capable of not being totally consumed by a very large life decision and can just like go on vacation and function as a normal person. Whereas I would be a wreck. Like, the concept of moving really upsets me. I understand that this man has many homes and can buy a nice home. I guess maybe he won't move because he could just live in Akron again. I don't know. But the idea that this thing where it's all on him, right? The ball is entirely in his court. And he's like, cool, I'll let you know when I let you know. It couldn't be me, but you know what? It absolutely is him. And we're just being selfish in saying that we want this thing to be done, because of course we want it done. We want to know what's happening. We want the next thing to happen. This is boring. We don't know anything. Nothing is happening. So we're bored by it, and yet we still have to talk about it because of the monumental nature of it all. But he's cool, and he doesn't need to rush himself. If this is the way that he wants to handle his process, he can handle his process the way he wants to handle his process.
Yeah, you know, we hit a point where we were hitting the voice note part of the news cycle, and I just found that so interesting. I'm like, are we really, is this the, because every Monday Shams has to have something.
Correct.
That's part of, it's in, apparently
you and I have both worked for a newspaper. We understand deadlines. There's
exactly
editors. Okay, Monday morning, first thing, I'm going to need something new on LeBron. Otherwise, first take can't go on the air.
Exactly. We need something for Get Up. We need something for First Take. We need something for NBA Today. We need something to drive our news cycle. What do you got? And he was like, voice notes? And they're like, awesome.
Sure. That's
Send
weird.
it in.
Let's do it.
Put a bunch of filler words in there, and let's hit the ground running. And
Shams GPT it.
Shams GPT it. And hey, like, we got content out of it. I did on several different shows, like, hey, let's leave our own voice notes, right? It's good content, right? We had the whiteboard. We had all this stuff. People are trying to create, just masterstroke by Rich Paul.
Perfect.
So I think there's a difference between, like, I can't wait to hear what it is versus I'm so sick of talking about this. And I'm listening to Dakhil and Jared Dubin do their double dribble earlier this week on RealGM Radio. And they're like, we got to talk about this again. We don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm so sick of talking about it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sick of talking about it yet. I'm sick of having the same conversations. I'm glad we got a voice note and a whiteboard. But I'm I will hit that point where I've been Tebowed by this, but I have
Right.
yet to be Tebowed by this, I guess. And I'm wondering if I'm the only one, because I'm increasingly feel like I am.
Do you feel like it's being shoehorned in? Do you feel like it's being force-fed to you? Because that was the issue with Tebow. He wasn't very good, and
Right.
there was clearly some cultural relevance there that they wanted to hammer home in the same way that, Floyd Mayweather picks his fights. And they just kept pressing that button. And at a certain point, you can either acknowledge like, oh, you can acknowledge the cynicism of all of it. It's the cynical nature of all of it and be like, oh, they clearly are just playing us because this is, early days of Twitter, right? People were just figuring out that the only thing that gets attention is controversy. Now we're well past that point. And in fact, like puppies might be the only thing that gets attention anymore. We've gone the whole opposite direction. Regardless, I don't feel like I'm being force-fed LeBron content.
I agree. This matters, right? Like Tebow felt like an industry plant, right?
Correct.
It's like you're making me
Perfect.
You're making me care about this person.
Right.
Whereas, and Jonathan Kuminga has a little bit of that, by the way. I'm like, why do we keep talking about this guy?
Well, that was mainly because it was extremely weird. It was extremely
and only
weird.
because he played for the Warriors, if we're being honest. Like Peyton Watson
100%.
should be getting 100 times the news that Kuminga.
Right.
Whatever. Don't want to get off too much.
Oh no,
With
I can talk Kuminga all day, baby.
I know. I've read your columns. LeBron is still. Well, let me ask you. Where would you put LeBron in terms of top X players in the league? You don't have to give me a number, but top X.
Isn't a number go where X is?
Correct. Yes. Top K player. No.
He's a top. I'm oscillating in my mind between 30 and 50. And it's not that on one given night he can't still be one of the best players in the NBA or have the best night in the NBA. We've seen that, but you just can't trust his body. I mean, he's a middle-aged man. Like, I don't know how to put that kindly. Like, I'm sure
he'll be buying a convertible right about now. Like,
right. Yeah, I mean,
oh, that's interesting.
At this point, the balding is charming. And it's
he's letting the gray come in the pictures, which pretty cool.
Live your
looking.
life, baby. Do
yeah.
you?
LeBron? I'm very in on the idea of LeBron doing gray beard final year. Like that seems cool to me.
Something, and it would help us properly, especially if he goes back to Cleveland and they wear those early LeBron era throwbacks. It would help us mark the passage of time, which is totally necessary
really
in our post-literate world. Listen, he is still an asset a massive asset to any team that has him. It is not to the point, though, as evidenced by the fact that the rest of the NBA has completed its business. If LeBron had done this same little act, and in a way he has before, in the same way that Kevin Durant did in 2016, if you do this same act and you are still LeBron James, you are still Kevin Durant, the rest of the league is like, we might get a little bit of something done, but we're going to see how this plays out. Whereas everyone else has let everything else play out, and now LeBron will come in after the fact. It's not a knock on LeBron. I don't need some large legacy. He's a 41-year-old man, and you have 5 teams drooling over him right now. Clearly, he's still pretty damn good at basketball. But to what end? Probably not a championship end for any of them.
So I've got him top 25.
Okay.
And I did a ranking maybe a couple weeks ago where I think I had him in the top. I had him top 20, somewhere between 17 and 20.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly where I put him. After I saw him lead the Lakers to a playoff series over the Rockets, I was like, yeah, this guy's still one of the best 20 players in the league. But you're right, he's hard to define because there's nights where he's definitely not that, and then there's nights where I'm like, I don't know that there's 5 better players than what LeBron is giving me tonight. So it makes it hard to figure out where he is. So I kind of just landed at 20-ish, and I feel pretty good about that. But if I'm a team that's obviously trying to get LeBron, then I'm like, okay, this is a big piece who can make a difference for us in what 100%. We're trying to accomplish this year. And so,
that's the other thing, Wes, though, right? Like trying to accomplish this year.
Correct.
1 year. I mean,
I think that's what makes this interesting from a content perspective is I do feel like there are stakes here. This is not, where is this guy going to do his farewell tour? It is, this guy actually has a lot of power to wield. To your point, he's done this before, but never in this way where he's like, I don't even care about the money. Let me just go to a place where I'm looking for quote unquote happiness and whatever that is, which beautifully articulated because now he can backwards logic that to mean literally anything. And so he can explain away his decision very easily.
Yes, they're all the right decision if you figure out a way to properly frame it. Expectations versus reality.
Right.
I should also note, I don't care about the money is a really good rationalization of no one's going to pay me what I'm actually worth anymore.
Masterclass in that, and then I'm breaking up with you, Lakers, before you could break up with me.
Very smart.
LeBron has at least seemingly taken control of his offseason, where any other player who is in his shoes would be like, my former team doesn't want me anymore. I no longer have bird rights because they've renounced me. I've gotten squeezed
LeBron
in free
James
agency.
Got renounced. That is functional. That is so ridiculous in concept, and yet makes so much. It's a great move by the Lakers, totally logical. But just the idea that LeBron James got renounced in any way, shape, or form outside of the way that people renounce LeBron James on the internet is incredible. But I digress.
It does. So yeah, I think that's what makes this all interesting from a content perspective is it does matter. And then you get the content that has come out, which I think has been mostly interesting and actually newsworthy. And that's my other point here is I know that we get beat over the head with the same storylines and we're so ready to move on to the next thing. I'm like, look, this might be at the very least the second greatest player of all time. And depending on who you ask, maybe the best player of all time.
Right.
Whatever he does this season is going to matter. Where he plays, how it looks, how he's playing in this play, whatever it is. This is such an important story, and I actually don't think we talk about it in the sense of it historically that way enough, where we're kind of just mixed in the drama and then where is he gonna land and sort of the debate of it all of, can
Very
LeBron turn this team into a championship contender? And I'm like, I'm really more worried about this from LeBron's perspective of where can LeBron go where we're going to get max LeBron-ness for maybe the last time? Because who knows when we're going to ever see a player this great again.
Max LeBron-ness in the on-court sense or in the off-court sense?
All of it. Yeah, I think that I wrote this story for Fansided years and years ago where I actually think that there's what's the guy with the pyramid of happiness? Like, from
Silicon Valley? Or are you talking about John Wooden?
It might be a John Wooden thing.
John Wooden in the Pyramid of Success?
No, that's the Pyramid of Success. There's like a Pyramid of Happiness.
I don't know.
But I think max happiness, LeBron.
Clearly, I don't know about the Period of Happiness.
All right, I'm going to Google it while I'm talking here.
Man in sports.
If you guys know in the comments,
yes, please
leave it here.
Let us know about
I literally wrote a whole... I must have read it once and had this stupid idea. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Sorry.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Wow.
So we've all heard of this. So basically the way it works is
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
You got physiological needs at the bottom. That's base. That's what you need, right? Food, water, warmth, rest. You need these things.
Right.
After that, safety needs, security, safety, a roof over your head. Belongingness and love needs is that third tier, right? Now we're talking about relationships, love, friends, things like that. Above that, esteem needs, right? So we're talking about feelings of accomplishment, liking your job, things like that. And at the very top, the tip of the pyramid is called self-actualization. It's achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. So basically, you've nailed all these things below, and you've completely self-actualized. You've reached personal nirvana, essentially. And my argument in my piece was, in LeBron's hierarchy of needs, in most places during his prime, he was like just knocking out the first two tiers easy. Physiological safety needs, like he's a floor raiser for these teams. He's always going to be good no matter what. His greatness is unquestioned.
Right.
The belongingness and love, like that's why you have a Dwayne Wade in Miami or a Kyrie Irving in Cleveland or Anthony Davis in the Lakers. That's what he's doing. Esteem needs, the feeling of the accomplishment, he's also nailed that. He's won a championship everywhere he's ever played. Okay.
Right.
The self-actualization, where it all comes together on and off the court, my argument was he's only ever hit that in Miami. And in the 2016 championship for Cleveland.
That definitely.
And then after that, but then after Kyrie leaves, he starts losing some of the other stuff. It becomes very clear that team had a ceiling. And then he goes to the Lakers, I think, chasing that self-actualization where I got my media empire budding over here. I love Los Angeles. I have my homes. My family's going to be here. I can raise my two kids here, and they can come up in this hoops circuit and all this stuff. But it never really came together. He has the COVID championship, but everybody knows that didn't feel the same.
He didn't have to travel.
He's never really embraced by Laker fans the way that they embraced Kobe or Shaq or any of these other guys.
Right.
And so I would say that his Lakers tenure, though it was 8 years, probably fell short of self-actualization, even though he would never tell you that.
No.
But then I go back, so that's what I'm thinking about this happiness thing for LeBron. Before I lose my audience completely talking about all this stuff, is
let's psychoanalyze this man right now.
Where does he view in his final season what self-actualization looks like? What place gives him the best chance to do all of this? And then you told me, you said something earlier that made me think, like, what, this guy is middle-aged. So it's a different thing than when he was doing this 10 years ago or whatever. It's what would a guy in a midlife crisis do in this situation? Where would he go? Would he really go to Minneapolis? I don't know. Maybe.
Seems like a bad decision having to babysit Ant and LaMelo.
Yeah, he's like, I've done this. I had 2 kids.
As someone who has 2 kids and ends up babysitting a lot of other kids whenever you get, like, we're all going to get together. Oh, great. That means that I get to, that's what Minnesota's like. You're just constantly on the clock. They're taking advantage of your wisdom and your age. That's what's happening there. Miami, I'm sure, would be an absolute blast for him. He obviously is deeply connected to the Cleveland organization still with Weems. I'm not sure, though, that team knows how to win. Let's just call it out. They don't know how to win. And so how much would they be leaning on him for, the level teachings that he can provide that will actually, not fall upon deaf ears? In many ways, and I'm not caping for them because, frankly, I think they've mismanaged this whole thing. But in many ways, the easiest thing for LeBron to do is to get over the whole "we were once rivals" thing and just go play with a bunch of dudes his age in a system that is going to be fun. Look at that. That is a beauty.
That was the illustration on that article.
There we go.
Continue. Yeah.
Really doing them dirty there with the brows. So yeah, I think if as you get older, I'm 37. I mean, you seek comfort, you seek familiarity. Life is challenging enough. Life throws enough curveballs your way. You're looking for your old friends and just the bad inside jokes and just the ease of existence. And the Golden State Warriors, while they won't be able to win, don't need to be taught how to win. The system is going to be mentally not challenging. It's LeBron James. He's a basketball genius.
Invigorating.
But yeah, I mean, it will be fun for him. It's not
there's
not going to be a lot of standing around. He can run split action out of the low post. He'll be with people that he enjoys. He'll be in an environment that is catered to rich people. The only thing he'd have to get over is having Warriors on his chest. And maybe that's not good enough. Like that might be too far of a bridge, pardon the pun, to cross. Whereas in Cleveland, does he want that challenge of having to teach them how to win? Because they can win. Does he want the challenge of having to? I mean, by the way, if he goes to Cleveland and they win, is the accomplishment that he won a second title in Cleveland or that he taught James Harden how to win? The latter seems like even the bigger accomplishment. That's like the anything.
To me, the only reason he goes to Cleveland is the nostalgia pull. That's it.
It's a great pull, though.
It's a great pull, and it's why I think it's maybe, to me, the biggest pull there is. I mean, we know what that place means to him. The fact that it's super clean, he'd be beloved right away, and any credit that anything the Cavs do, he gets immediately all the credit.
Right,
and that's pretty great.
Yeah,
and if they fail, it's fine. Now, I would argue he did it already. He went to Cleveland, taught Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love how to win, dragged that Cavaliers team to an insane finals win over a juggernaut Warriors team.
Right.
And it's like, you're going to try to do that again? It kind of feels like, what's the point to me? And But again, I get it.
A recency bias.
Yeah.
The way. So it really comes down to. And again, I don't know, and I don't know if he knows. And you noted earlier. I mean, he's in full control. Maybe that's part of the frustration that everyone has. Like, you're in full control and you can't make up your mind. Like, that's annoying. Those are annoying people. You don't like going to dinner with anybody who they come around and say, "Oh, I don't know."
Do you think he doesn't know, or do you think he does know and he's dragging it out?
I don't. I think that I don't know. I mean, frankly, none of us know.
Mhm.
I would bet that he doesn't know, because there's no impediment to him just saying it whenever he wants. Now, unless he does this and it's a big orchestrated thing, which I don't think we get to that point, but I don't know. I'm just guessing. I would
Yeah.
say this. Warriors feels like the cleanest option for him on a personal level and in a basketball sense, and Cleveland feels like the cleanest one in a legacy sense. Maybe this brings Miami into the situation on the basis of, like, you can kind of have it both ways, right? Like, you already have a Giannis, you already know what you're dealing with in Spo. Obviously, Miami's a pretty damn good place to live come January. So it's there's so many positives for each of them, but they kind of are tranched into their own departments. If you want other people to view it some way, you go to Cleveland, because everyone will just remember the last uniform you wore. They'll just remember it was the Cleveland Cavaliers. You'll be remembered kind of like Baseball Hall of Fame. What hat are you going to wear? You'll be remembered as a Cav more than anything else. And if you go to Miami, it's to, kind of close the book there, maybe give, a little something back to old Pat, familiarity. You're a middle-aged man. Moving to Miami seems to be very in vogue for that, and it always has been. And then with Golden State, it's hanging out with your buddies, or at least going to an environment that is more conducive to old men. Because, like,
and if we learned anything from his Mind the Game podcast over the last couple of years, is that his biggest pet peeve is dumb basketball players. And so and you're not going to deal with that necessarily. You're not going to deal with that in Golden State, and so
you'll deal with it everywhere, but it won't be top of line.
Right. The guys who you're going to be spending most of your time with on the court, we're talking about Steph, Draymond, Porzingis, Horford. I mean, guys that he has great respect for and deserve.
Jimmy's going to be around, be a pain in the ass.
Jimmy will eventually be there. Yeah, but his high basketball IQ.
Yeah, no, that's their entire shtick, which has failed them because their bodies have failed them, not because the shtick isn't worthwhile. Kind of a knock against the whole Minnesota thing. And then there is Philly and Maxey and all of that. But it doesn't look right.
I'm with you.
I like Philadelphia a lot, but, like, who chooses Philadelphia?
So the argument, I was trying to think of why would he, right? I don't think the basketball fit's any good. I think it's really clunky. There's too much unprovenness, and the Embiid factor is too much of a wild card for me to be like, yeah, my last season, I'm going to bank it on this guy finally putting it together for at least a couple of playoff series and at least enough regular season games where it's going to make a difference.
Still got to teach Edcombe. Still got to, you got to help Maxey get to that next level.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much heavy lifting, I think, for LeBron in that last year.
And I'm sure he's so excited to deal with Jaylen Brown. They can both pretend like they read the book.
Right, exactly. Like, did you also pretend? I bought that book. I also bought that book.
The first 5 pages were invigorating.
The only argument I can come up with for Philly is either some sort of, I want to get in with the ownership group. Okay, whatever. I feel like LeBron is, it's not bad, but LeBron's big enough, like, if he just called the ownership group when he retired, he can get in.
Easy.
And then if there's a constant, no matter where LeBron has played, it's that he's always hated Boston. And you can make an argument that historically the Sixers are the greatest rival to the Celtics, more than even the Lakers.
Well, it's definitely on now.
And it's definitely on now. So if he just signed with the Sixers as one more FU to the Celtics, that's kind of interesting.
I appreciate
also, one of his favorite players growing up was Dr. J, so he gets to wear the Dr. Dre uniform. Like, okay, maybe. I don't know. I'm still struggling to, like, I really got to squint to see it anyway where that makes sense.
I don't know. The one thing I'll say there's really no obvious answer.
If there was, he would have been there by now.
Right. And I think that people just presume that Cleveland is the obvious answer, and it's probably the default answer because it's the right thing to do for the legacy. But how much do you want to run uphill for a year?
And that's kind of where I'm thinking about this. Every time LeBron has made a decision, he's kind of not done the thing that people wanted him to do. He kind of went against the grain, right? Even when he went back to Cleveland in 2014, people expected it would happen eventually, but nobody expected it. Very few people expected it at that point, right?
Yeah.
And then when he goes to the Lakers, that was pretty much out there that it was going to happen. But everybody was just like, why are you doing this? And it wasn't met with like a round of applause.
No, it's kind of gauche.
Yeah. So I'm like, everybody kind of says, go to Cleveland. It makes the most sense. It's the best way to end the story.
Yeah.
I'm like, when has LeBron done that? When has he done the thing that everybody said is the best thing for him to do? Never.
But isn't it the right time to do the thing that everyone wants you to do? Again,
totally
with
fair.
recency bias, with just because clearly he can't delineate to the point where the team that he has chosen has any idea that they've chosen or that he's chosen them. So like clearly there is some indecision, or he's just the most secretive man on the planet, which in the modern NBA is a ridiculous concept. Like shouldn't, if it does come down to recency bias, if he is concerned, if legacy is top of mind, it has to be Cleveland. Because no matter what happens, people will remember him finally as a Cav, hometown kid. Again, we've said it 100 times before we've even started talking. It's the cleanest. But, man, I don't know. I mean, there is something to at 41. And the other aspect of the Warriors that I don't think is talked about enough is no one's expecting them to win a title.
Mm-hmm.
Not nobody. Whereas if you go to Cleveland, they'll expect you to win a title. If you go to Miami, they're probably wrong, but they'll talk about it like it's a possibility.
There'll be title expectations.
Right. You go to Philly, absolutely. You go to Minnesota, absolutely.
Yep.
Which is kind of preposterous.
Yeah. Do you want to be viewed as the final piece, or do you not want that pressure at this stage? I think is a fair. Now, everything we hear is that he wants to compete, but that can mean two very different things.
Yeah.
I think he wants to compete in the same way Steph wants to compete. I think Steph realizes he's won all of his championships.
Yes. Well, he's
But
not
he
a
doesn't
dumb
wanna
man, and he plays for the Golden State Warriors still, so I would hope that he's come to that.
That's right. But I also know that he doesn't want to be on the couch in the first round of the playoffs.
Correct.
He wants to be involved. He wants to play games with stakes at the very end. He wants to feel alive. He wants to feel like he's playing for something. Maybe that's all LeBron wants to do, and he wants to do it with his golf buddies, and that's totally, I get it. I think it's kind of gross for him to go to the Warriors. I hate the idea.
Right.
I think Team USA was fine. I think we leave it there. I think it was great. I think it's a little icky for LeBron to join the Warriors based on their battle. My favorite moments between LeBron and the Warriors were when they were playing against each other, not with each other.
Yeah.
And I think there's a really low floor. I'm like, this could be really fun. We're all focused on how fun it's going to look. It can also look really sad when these guys are looking really old all at the same time. And
Did you enjoy the movie The Expendables? Not really. It's also hilarious that the Warriors have totally left themselves just totally open. Just, full do whatever you want to me.
Yeah.
It's almost I won't get you censored. But it's almost like a kink in how they like to get, beat up a little bit here. And it's so funny how much they're just opening themselves up for like 20 meaningful basketball games total.
Right.
Where everyone's healthy.
So you mentioned The Expendables. To me, it's like The Irishman. Where I'm like, hey, guys, like, I know we like the idea of seeing all these guys on the screen together, but this is a 3-hour movie. And there are going to be moments where you really wish all these guys were 10 to 15 to 20 years younger than where they are right now. And with the Warriors, I like to remind people, I'm like, the NBA season is long, people. I know we all like to see it during Team USA when it's this contained little thing.
Yeah.
Or the All-Star game or whatever. But, it's... Anyway.
108... That movie was what? Like 200 minutes long?
Mm-hmm.
If LeBron goes to the Warriors, do he, Steph, Draymond, and Porzingis play more or less than 200 minutes together at once? In the entire regular season.
Do they share more time than the leads in The Irishman? That's a great question. We put that on Cal Sheet for some sort of over-under.
There we go.
All right.
Can I also maybe, sorry, I know this was the original conceit, and then we did the same thing that everyone else has been doing. But I do think that part of the frustration with all of this is that the world changes as fast as information is disseminated these days. And we're at a point of like information toxicity with the amount that we consume and ingest. And we the front of our brains, write it off as flippant, but somewhere in our deep cortexes, we're actually processing all of it. And it really, I think it makes us sick. Regardless, we are so addicted to short form pop media, whether it's just a little tweet or it's a YouTube short or it's Shams popping in on, TV for 2 minutes. We're so addicted to it. And pardon the pun, the TikTok of it all, just the beat by beat, and that there's a general process to these things. The lack of information that we have, I think, is driving us insane.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest frustration that people have is they don't necessarily want it to move on. They just want new information in which to discuss the thing that is currently happening.
Right.
And that obviously has not been the ball game, and it leads us into speculation and frankly conspiracy theories if it was a more nefarious situation. And I think that's maybe the biggest frustration with how this whole LeBron thing has been covered. It's been covered responsibly, right? In that, yeah, we can all have our little opinions on the side, but like there is no new information to report. We held up voice memos as something different and important and interesting because it was all we had. And that just doesn't jive with our modern media consumption habits. So it creates frustration because that's what we do when.
And interestingly enough, have not heard from LeBron, right? All we have is a few photos from Instagram and some golf outings. We've heard from his agent quite a bit, and that's really driven the news more than everything.
That's more annoying than anything else.
This kind of brings me to my second theory about why this is taking so long. We're going to talk about that and more on the other side of this quick break. So the other reason, right? We talked about two reasons why LeBron might be taking as long as he is. Number one, he just doesn't know where he's going. Number two, for the content.
Sure.
And this is out there. We know that he wants to make, he's making this documentary, his Last Dance style documentary. Andy Thompson, who is Klay Thompson's uncle, worked on The Last Dance. He's also compiling LeBron footage right now. And so this is all happening. It's being processed. And so people are wondering, okay, is he just taking as long as he is for the content of it? And while I hear that as a reason and I get it, and I understand why people would think that, because LeBron James is so used to so much attention for basically his entire life now.
Sure.
There's a couple of reasons why that doesn't quite add up as the reason why he hasn't made an announcement yet. Number one, he's never really struck me as the content being the number one motivator for anything he's done. It's always been a thing that he's been interested in, goes to the Lakers in part because he wants to build his media empire, but that wasn't the whole like he could have played for the Clippers too. You know what I mean? Like It didn't matter. So it never was like the number one motivator. And the other thing too is what part of this is making the documentary? Like what part of you and I talking here on RealGM Radio? I mean, I think most of it should make the documentary because I think it's interesting. But
of course.
They may feel differently, and we're not part of the media empire. But no, I just like in general this part of it isn't making the doc. It's the first part of it, and it's the part it's the decision part of it. Like when and we'll talk about how we think he's gonna make his decision here in a second.
Yeah.
And then it's the after. It's not this nothingness, right? It's the Shams, it's the Rich Paul whiteboard, the Shams voice note, maybe a couple other things to here and there, and that they'll do a 10-second B-roll basically to show how long this took, but that's about it. And I don't think that part is so. That part doesn't add up. Why it's taken specifically this long? I think they needed to drag it out enough to make some content out of it, but now 3 weeks in, it feels like okay. I think we got everything we need.
Yeah. I legitimately think he doesn't know. Because the latest information is that he's reaching out to players on the teams. Like, why would you bother in small talk? Why would you open yourself up to having all these conversations and leading people on? Like, that would be some sociopathic nonsense. He's not a sociopath. Like, he's just not. So I don't think he knows. And again, there's no obvious option. I think we can all come to a conclusion on where we think would be best for him, but we're not him. And our priorities might be different than his priorities. Certainly we don't know the personal aspect of all of it, right? I don't know about you, Wes, but I'd like to think that if I was about to make a major career decision, my wife might have something to say about it. My kids might have something to say. He's still got a kid in school. Like, I'd be fairly interested in, their input, if not, frankly, just doing whatever it is they say, which is probably more par for the course. That's the kind of stuff that matters too. It does matter that he has so many logs in the fire. Okay, well, how am I going to be able to keep those logs in the fire, continue to grow the fire if I'm in X, Y, or Z? Does Philadelphia help me or hurt me? Does San Francisco help me or hurt me? Does Cleveland help me or hurt me? Miami. How does this facilitate more? How does this take away something? All of these things have to be considered because there's a lot of things to consider. And then Then we get to the basketball. Then we get to personal enjoyment. Then we get to reputation and legacy and all these things. He's a billionaire. He's a business onto himself. He's also a person. This is complicated stuff. He gets to vote twice in American elections, apparently. It's all, the midterms are coming up. Where do I want to register to vote? No, I'm kidding. But it's all of these things that are, I can understand why it's taking a long time. Right. And then he's also done the thing where the money, the other aspect of all of this is, and I don't think that we hammer it home enough, or maybe we have, and we're now coming back around to maybe we need to hammer it again. He doesn't want anything. Usually the power and the reputation and all this stuff comes from the money. So the decision is who can pay him, and then that whittles down a field. The field got whittled down in a different way that had no rhyme or reason. There's no connective tissue with any of those teams. The Warriors in Minnesota might be in the same conference. They're in vastly different stratospheres of where they are as organizations, right? One's never won anything and is young. The other one's won everything and is old. Like, what else connects them? I mean, other than there's precipitation in the winter.
Right.
Like, we can't pick the thread. We can't pull the string. We don't understand any of this.
John Mulaney has this joke about Mick Jagger. And
no.
Yes, exactly. It's like, hey, was Mick Jagger nice? Like somebody asked him after Mick Jagger hosted SNL, and he was like, no, he wasn't nice. He's Mick Jagger. What? He's not gonna be like, I'm sorry, do you have an iPhone charger that I could borrow?
Not funny.
Exactly. We can't possibly understand what it's like to be LeBron James or Mick Jagger. What they do on a day-to-day, they operate and act differently than most people.
They have many phones. Also, you know who can't relate to LeBron James at all?
Mick Jagger?
Gen Z.
Oh.
Sorry. Like
right.
They'll never understand what it's like to have held a Razor phone and had to send photos that way. Like, this is a 41-year-old man.
Right. If you say T9 to a Gen Z, they think Tesla.
They have no idea.
Right.
I'm not doing the get off my lawn thing, but it's a very different media generation. It's a very different consumption generation. Like they've only grown up in a social media age. Like we grew up in an internet age, and we all remember when the first computer and you got your internet on and 56K and AIM and all this stuff. They have only grown up with inundation and attention being stolen at all times. They don't put up with nothing.
Yeah.
They don't. Good on them. They don't put up with anything. This is a 41-year-old man with he's got a kid who already has $1 million job. Like he old. He an old man, and he's old as hell by basketball standards.
Well, let's talk.
How are we going to relate to that? How is a 24-year-old who is obsessed in posting on TikTok or whatever? How are they going to relate to LeBron James?
Right, and it's your point. As long as he's taken with this, I wanted to talk to you about the process of how we've seen these decisions evolve. Right, so. The first major decision in 2010, you could argue that the first major decision was skipping college and just going straight to the NBA. But
presumed though.
The big decision that was a landmark and that everybody talks about is the one to go to Miami. I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. He does that in a TV interview with Jim Gray.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was how you did things, right? Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh that same summer did their same announcement. Very similarly, they got on with Mike Wilbon on ESPN. That's how they did it. You sponsor it. You send some money to the Boys and Girls Club. Very nice.
Right.
That's how you did it in 2010.
Right.
Fast forward to 2014.
Lee Jenkins.
It's Lee Jenkins for a magazine, but nobody bought that magazine. Everybody read that online. So we're going from the point where you go from TV to online.
That was peak page views though. Like there was still money in advertising.
There was still money in page views where it wasn't just clickbait and slideshows. And I'm sure they got
this
their
time
minds worked
around.
out.
It's AI slop.
AI slap. Yep.
We'll do it.
That's why I got out of the writing game. But we
then so how did he do it when he went to the Lakers? I don't even recall.
That was a press release that they announced on social media.
Okay.
And that makes sense for 2018. And I'm trying to think, what's the most 2026 way where they can make an announcement? And
I mean, it's so obvious, Wes. It's so obvious. It's Friday. It's Friday.
On what medium?
You have your own show that's being streamed somewhere. You do it on your own damn podcast. That's the most 2020 sixth thing I've ever heard. He made his announcement on his own podcast.
But not just any podcast, a live podcast.
A live podcast.
Which is very 2026. We've already graduated from podcasts, right? Like Mark Mann was doing podcasts. But we're now in the live podcast era where we can not only sell advertisements against it, but we can also sell tickets against it.
Right.
But the only reason I think it might not happen is that those tickets are already sold. I think he could do so. I think it will be a podcast. I think it might be a different podcast that's not on Thursday or Friday. I think
special podcast.
I think they're going to have a lead up to it, and it'll just be another podcast, another way that they could sell tickets. And I do wonder if it won't be in New York because these two events are in New York.
Well, I know somebody in the Bay Area who's desperate for it to happen on his podcast. It's not me. It's Draymond Green. So yes, I just am imagining the thumbnail with like a AI-ified LeBron being like decision, just one word question mark.
That should be our thumbnail.
Yeah.
I think I know how this is going to happen.
How do you think it's going to end, Wes?
So number one,
is he going to play?
I'm going to make two predictions.
He quits and plays for the Birmingham Barons.
You can go to the what's that dancing baseball team?
Hey, you can play for the Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas.
They're a bit much now. Just gonna
Savannah Banana, good tie-in to the family.
Hey now. my true love has always been Savannah.
That's right, but not just any Savannah.
Not just
Savannah Bananas. All right, two predictions. Number one, he's going to announce it on a podcast. It's going to become the most listened to sports podcast of all time. It will become the Taylor Swift Eras Tour of concerts. It's going to be the most listened to sports pod ever. No. I agree with the first part. The latter part, no. Because it's going to be live and people are going to tune in.
Yeah, maybe. He's got to really time it right.
Well, that's my second part of the prediction.
Hit me.
It's going to be on Netflix. LeBron James building.
Is that better than YouTube?
I think it's more lucrative than YouTube. And I think LeBron, knowing that his media empire is coming, knowing that this Last Dance doc for him is coming and likely going to be on Netflix, I think he's just going to bridge that tie-in. I think he wants Netflix to have the rights to the video. I think it's just going to be this bridge. If you are into sports streaming, I think Netflix is the place to do it now.
So we're doing Decision 1.0, but instead of it being on ESPN with Jim Gray, it's
on Netflix with Rich Paul. And it might even be, I hesitate to say it'll be on Rich Paul's podcast with Max Kellerman, but they already have the Netflix tie-in, so I won't rule it out.
That's a huge coup for Bill.
Big time.
It's I don't think that's the play. I don't think that's the play. I think it will be I think it will just be on YouTube. Because he already separated from HBO with The Shop, right? Is that still on HBO? I don't know.
I don't know where that lives now, and I was actually surprised to see that they were filming one on Friday because I was like,
let me tell you,
that was still.
Let me tell you, I think The Shop's coming back, baby. I think that he's had very few failures in his career, but The Shop was kind of a dud, and I think he's going to save The Shop with this. That's my call.
Maybe that's the whole point of all of this, and we were missing it the entire time.
Man, I love The Shop. The Shop's great, this and that. And then it was just going, no one wants The Shop. Guess who's going to want The Shop? Everybody. And now The Shop gets all those subscribers and this and that. I mean, right before he's about to announce his decision, he's going to be like, hey, everybody, just wanted to let you know, like and subscribe and leave a positive comment on where I should go next.
Give me a percentage chance that he announces it on Thursday when he's doing his live taping of Mind the Game with Tyrese Halliburton. And that he tells Tyrese Halliburton that he's joining the Indiana Pacers.
I'm going to go with a 0% chance.
0%, okay.
Even regardless of the Tyrese Halliburton of it all, I think that they would need... Look at me pretending like I know what the hell I'm talking about. They need one show to tease it. They need one show to be like, no, I haven't made up my mind yet.
Well, that's what I think he's
going.
Posted. A lot of this is about like the future of sports business and things. I think LeBron is going to tell us all at the end of the week, I'm not making my decision here, but I'm making it here at this other thing at this place. I think he'll tell us.
I don't think he can do that again. I don't think that that's the right play because the decision
You think you Beyonce this?
Yes, I think you just drop it in there, and I think that everyone kind of knows. I think that, how about this? A little Shams leak. He's expected to.
Mm.
Oh,
I don't see him using Shams.
You think Haynes would get it?
I don't think anybody gets it.
Haynes?
I don't think anybody gets it.
If
anything, Rich Paul says it on his show, and that's it. It's a. Hey, Rich, here you can eat off this a little bit for a show, and that might be it.
Okay, that might do it. Just aggregate it, word of mouth.
It gets aggregated. The other 2026 version of this, if it's not a live podcast taping or a streaming podcast taping,
right?
Does he just get on TikTok and just say
that ain't worth it for him?
Yeah, you can't monetize it.
You can, but you can't. Instagram can probably monetize it too.
Okay, either way, you just get on yourself and just, this is it, guys. No press release, nothing. Just
it would be him and Draymond and Steph and Steve Kerr standing at like the 18th hole of the Olympic Club, and just be like, "Bay Area, what up?" And that's it. That's the announcement.
It's LeBron putting, and he's like, "If this goes in, I'll join the Warriors." And then he hits the putt, and it goes in. They have to, take a couple takes to make sure it goes in, and then.
Yeah, and then we live cut to Joe Lacob just ripping off his shirt and running around the green. Because I mean, that's the other aspect from the Warriors' perspective. Like, it's just an unbelievable business win for the Warriors in that there's just this almost morbid curiosity that would follow the Warriors all year. I'd have to hire a lot of goddamn babysitters for Warriors games that I was able to just watch on TV last year. But the money that they would make, I mean, we'll see what happens. Honestly, maybe they have to wait until the Ballmer investigation, because like the money that they could make, if Steve Ballmer just gets a slap on the wrist, Joe Lacob should be like, "Yeah, I'll give you 2% of whatever we bring in." This is about to be a cash cow, baby, and there ain't no rules in Adam Silver's NBA when it comes to kickbacks.
Anything else on LeBron before we get to the take wheel?
Where do you think he goes, and where do you think he should go? Because you're in Miami, I'm in Oakland. Like, we're tied there, like in the sense of we both have a dog in the fight, if you will. I hate using. I should stop saying that. I don't know if we're biased. I'd really like to think that we could think through this thing clearly, but like I think you're going to give more credence to the Heat as a possibility than I am, and I think that I'm giving more credence to the Warriors as a possibility, even though I just roll my eyes at the whole thing.
Yeah, I think we're just closer to those individual situations and have thought about it more because of what our jobs are. So
right. So like where do you think he should go? Where do you think he does go?
So I've argued that he shouldn't go to any of these teams and just go to. I've actually argued that Charlotte would be really funny.
Yeah, I think maybe you and I had that conversation.
I think we have talked about it.
Yeah.
It is interesting that Rich Paul was like, if the Knicks didn't win the championship, he'd be there and we'd be done with this. I don't know how much I believe it, but I do kind of feel like that makes sense.
2 words: Brooklyn Nets, baby.
Exactly.
Prove how valuable you are. Take the Nets to the playoffs.
I think Miami does make more sense than people are giving it credit for, only because you've talked to NBA players, you know this, but the one thing that is, I would say, true of 98% of NBA players is they want to play, and they want to play the way they like to play.
Totally. Why wouldn't
And I'm trying to think of where LeBron can play where he likes to play. And I think one of the reasons that he doesn't want to play for the Lakers anymore is he can't play the way he likes to play because Luka's playing the way he likes
100%.
to play.
100%. It's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes the Warriors make sense is, hey, I don't have to worry about teaching people about basketball, but I don't know that it's the way he wants to play. But I think it's a way that, like you said, would be engaging for him to play in.
Well, also, you just go back. He could do point forward stuff again. That's a huge part of it. He can run the split action from the post.
He was elite. Like, his transition numbers are eye-popping for a 41-year-old last year. Like, he was one of the best transition guys in the league last year.
You can see he still only takes 6 steps to get down the floor. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
He's so big. That's the other aspect I don't think people talk about. He's so goddamn big. Like, LeBron James and I are listed at the same height, and like we are the same height, and he is built like an offensive lineman. As someone who is also built like an offensive lineman, though all of mine is dough and all of his is steel. Like, I people go like, how big is LeBron? I'll tell 2 stories. One, my mom, this was early LeBron. Like, he's 19 years old. My mom really wanted to see LeBron James play basketball. It was a weird request, just totally out of the blue. So for it was Mother's Day or something, or a birthday, we got Bulls Cavs tickets close. And all she did was complain that because he was so big and could move so fast that the NBA court had to be expanded. Like that was a functional, like,
right.
this
That's
is the man who is
it's the
broken
Wemby
the
argument
system.
now.
Right. Like it's actually, you need to be in a hockey rink for someone this big and this fast and this strong who can jump that high. The other thing is people go like, how, you're tall, Dieter. Like, how big is LeBron? Because like I look down on Draymond. It's like, how big is LeBron? The only other person that I've seen with ankles as big as LeBron James, they're as big as your bicep. Like, I'm not kidding. They're huge. I don't know how. He obviously just has Nike build him custom shoes. The hole for the top of his shoes has to be that big. And as someone who's got some honkers on him, like it's unbelievable. Every part of his body is like 2 times larger than it should be. His elbows are wider. Until he turned like 35, he was unquestionably my choice for that's who we put up against the aliens. The Bill Simmons question. Now, of course, it's Myles Garrett, but it's still like I don't think people quite understand that he can play all 5 in this modern NBA with these skinny billies. It was supposed to be a funny joke, but it failed miserably. With all these skinny boys playing center, and there being like 4 true centers left. LeBron is absolutely, and we've seen this in like even a decade ago, playing him at the 5 is a real asset in the space.
It's why
and he holds up.
I'm not sure this is his last year.
No,
I'm not sure.
Well, that's the other aspect of it. We talk
so
about
he could do something now, and he could do Cleveland after this.
I guess that would be super. That would actually be annoying.
That would be annoying. I agree.
He could play probably. He could Tom Brady it.
Yep,
he really could. I'm not sure. At a certain point, basketball is such an athleticism game that it's going to keep diminishing. I mean, we know it's diminished, but he had so much to work with compared to legitimately anybody else, functional athleticism, that now he's just come back to the pack. Now he's just Tobias Harris wishes he could still be 41-year-old LeBron James. So there is still a craft to it. But I always made this argument when people are like, oh, Klay Thompson's age is going to, or game is going to age like a fine wine. And I'm like, he's gotten by. He was a very, very good perimeter defender for a long time. Then he had his leg injuries. But he was never like an elite athlete, right? He's not someone who's touching the top of the backboard or anything like that. He was a good side-to-side guy. The legs are going to take that from him, and they're also going to hurt his shot. Like when you're already operating on like a good like baseline, maybe slightly above average, and you lose any of it, there is a point of delineation, and he fell under it. LeBron is still well above that point of delineation. But if he plays till he's 47 years old, like he'll fall under it.
At some point he will. And I guess that's the magic question with LeBron is when is that point? And
at a certain point, the ROI on the amount of work that he has to put into his body.
And he's talked about
$3 million.
He's like, when I stop loving the process every single day, that's when I'm going to stop. And that's I
stop hanging out with JJ Redick is what I heard.
Right.
Yeah, I love the process. We know, JJ. It's the only reason.
Are you ready for the take wheel?
Yeah, all this other stuff was nonsense. Let's do take wheel.
Yes, that's what we're really here for. Okay. So
you never answered my damn question. I'm sorry. Where's he going?
I have no idea where he's going. I don't pretend to know. I do think that Miami is I think Miami is in the running. I think it makes a lot of basketball sense for him. He doesn't have to be. He could be literally. When was the last time LeBron was able to be the worst defender in a starting lineup? He would be able to do that in Miami. There's obviously the shooting concerns, but there's concerns with every basketball fit. I get it. I think he's also gonna be able to play exactly the way he wants to play without the responsibility of being the number one scorer. The ball will be in his hands. He'll be making the decision. Most times he's on the court, but that decision will mostly be throwing it to Giannis, and he'll be able to do it in pick and roll. Yeah. And I think it'll work. And he's got familiarity with the organization, with Eric Spoelstra, with Bam. And there has been a very important clutch connection made between the Miami Heat and Clutch Sports recently, where they have really bridged that gap and made up after 2014. So that's what I think.
Okay, well, that stole my thunder because I think he's going to Miami too. But it's mainly because of something you alluded to earlier. Like he doesn't want to do the most obvious thing. And Cleveland's the most obvious thing. They need him. Him. There's also the Harden of it all. Like, I listen. Basketball I don't know what their personal relationship is like. They were on Team USA's together. People swear by James. James is a one of one cat. But It looks clunky. It looks clunky. And it could work. It could be just fine, but it might be too obvious. I think Golden State's too damn thirsty. There's something. There's
Play a little bit more hard to get.
I mean, there's a bad juju to somebody just fawning over you. This is the obsession thing that's going on. Like, I want to go play with my friends. It's close to LA.
The Heat have not even said publicly that they're interested in LeBron.
Every other thing we've heard is Pat Riley saying he'd leave a key under the mat, right? Something like that.
And that was 10 years ago. And so the
other part,
I will remind
screams to me. Silence screams there.
The only thing that I think was interesting is this week we got reporting from the Miami Herald that the Heat are very interested in signing Klay Thompson with or without LeBron. And I think that report was interestingly timed because I do think LeBron wants to play with Klay Thompson to a degree. I don't think he's hitching his wagon to him, but I think he'd be interested in playing with Klay. And we know that he was willing to take a pay cut for Klay Thompson in the past if Klay were to sign with the Lakers. I think this is somebody who's had on his mark. And I think that's the Heat kind of just putting it out there like, hey, look,
we're doing some stuff.
We also know because of the order of operations, we probably have to sign you first before we get Klay. But this is something we would be doing for you. So you know it's out there.
Also, the only team that has been given a mandate, and people can pretend, it's just no. The Warriors were given a mandate. I don't know. I don't think it was direct. I'm pretty sure it was indirect. But the Golden State Warriors, through Clutch Sports, were explicitly told, if you know how the NBA works, you got to go get yourself an Anthony Davis. You have to get Anthony Davis. You do one good for my man Anthony Davis over here, you're going to get a LeBron James. There's some toxicity with all of that I don't think can be beaten by the power of friendship. I really don't. There's something off with that whole environment.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it would go horribly wrong or anything. It's just like, this is not how relationships typically operate. Good ones, at least.
Take wheel. All right, for those people who have not heard the take wheel before, the whole conceit is pretty simple. I have 20 randomly selected topics. Dieter has never seen these topics. He doesn't know what I have on my paper here. I've got 20 of them numbered 1 through 20. Dieter gives me a number, I give him the topic, and then Dieter gives me a take based on that topic, and that's how it works. And we do as many as we want until we have to leave. So that's what we're going to do. 1 through 20, Dieter, give me a number.
In honor of LeBron James, 6.
Sleep.
Wish I was getting more of it. I have 2 non-sleeping children. It is the bane of my existence. I'm not a napper. I really appreciate how NBA players and coaches, everybody in the NBA just takes a little siesta every day. And now they can't function without it. And meanwhile, I'm out here fighting on 4 hours every night because the 3-year-old is like, I'm not going to bed until 11 because I'm a night owl like my dad. And the 1-year-old is just like, I'm thirsty in the middle of the night. Come get me. I'm going to yell until something happens. And then is up at 6 every day. Just like, what are we doing? We're having a great time. I would kill for more sleep. I will not kill them, but I would kill something else for more sleep. I'm taking a vacation this upcoming weekend. The grandparents are coming to take care of my children. It happens very rarely. I live very far away from everyone else in my family, perhaps by design, perhaps not, who's to say. And it's like, what are you and your wife going to go do? You're going on a little, a couple trip, this and that. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to sleep. We're going to go into a hotel room. We're going to draw the blinds, and the best possible thing that can happen, we're going to get it on by knocking out, putting on a mask, maybe some creams. It's just absolutely a little white noise machine going on. Oh, baby, you don't even know what's about to happen. We about to sleep so hard.
Why can't you nap? Is it because of the schedule and the kids, or is it because you just don't like the middle of the day nap?
Please do not take this as a point of conceitedness. It probably requires medication. I can't turn my brain off once it's on.
Yeah.
And once it starts firing, it's on. And I mean, it's not as if I can't do it. It just the time frame in which it takes for me to actually do it is so long that at a certain point I'm barely getting actually any sleep there. So I'm out for 15 minutes. I would need to clear out an entire day because it would be, and I got blackout curtains. I can have the phone in the other room. I will just sit there and ruminate and exercise beforehand. I can do a sauna beforehand. I can do anything. I will just sit there and ruminate and process everything that needs to be processed. And
Yeah.
then by the time I've kind of worked myself into a place where all the blocks are perfectly aligned, then I can fall asleep and whoops, we only got 5 minutes until we actually have to go do something. So just not a terribly.
So I'm not a nap guy either.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never been.
Yeah.
I have a very similar problem where I'm like, first of all, I don't want to knock out for an hour. I just that to me feels like a waste of time. I feel like I wake up and I'm like, okay, I need to get this time back somehow.
I'll give you that, but like the idea of I can't knock out for an hour, it's a waste of time. And then you actually think about all the ways that we waste time, like talking to Wes Goldberg on RealGM radio or something.
Totally
and
fair. Right.
And
Yes.
it's like, what should I be doing instead? And then you realize you actually did do 40 minutes on Twitter or Instagram. And
Right.
you're like, wouldn't I have rather have been sleeping? And in retrospect, you're like, hell yeah. Last night I'm watching
I have mastered the 24-minute nap.
Wow, you have that down?
I have it down, and here's the secret. I'm going to let you in on this.
And why is it 24?
Trial and error. For me, it works. It's long enough, and it's the maximum return for the least amount of investment and time spent napping.
So you've optimized napping.
I've optimized it for me. 24 minutes in the middle of the day, around like right around when we're doing this, maybe a little bit after, is when I really thrive. And it's enough time where I feel like, okay, I feel energized after this until the point where I actually have to go back to bed.
Wow.
And
that's impressive.
The secret is don't nap.
Don't
worry about it.
Do the opposite.
Just
go
lay down on a couch or a bed.
Not off.
Close your eyes for 24 minutes. And I put the alarm for 24 minutes on my phone. Wow. And whatever happens for these 24 minutes, I don't care. I may never fall asleep. It's not important. There's a lot of times where I don't fall asleep, but my eyes are closed for 24 minutes. And I'll tell you afterwards, I do feel at least a little bit more refreshed if I don't fall asleep.
You're resting more than anything else.
Resting.
That's worthwhile.
Lower the bar. Yeah. The midday nap is tough. Lower the bar to resting. All right, give me another number.
We're also in a position, Wes, where the amount of nicotine and caffeine that I need just to get going during the day never comes down enough to where I'm like, oh, let's relax until like I cut myself off at like 7:30.
Yeah, my whole day from like 5:30 a.m. to about 2 p.m. is built on just staying awake. So it's really hard to just then go the other direction so suddenly.
And then your kids go to sleep and you're like, oh my God, I have an hour of calm. What am I going to do? I'm going to binge The Agency or something, which, by the way, highly recommended. Good show. The Agency. It's on Showtime. Fassbender's a spy.
Give me another number.
Let's do 1. I don't think I've ever picked 1.
Nepo babies.
Yeah, well, welcome to the world. Did Ethan Strauss, by the way, whenever you want to talk about, big picture media stuff, I'm sure you call Ethan Strauss first and then you're like, fine, I'll do Dieter. But I believe Ethan had an article recently on House of Strauss that was making the argument that the NBA's Nepo babies are in fact a secret weapon for keeping the NBA alive, and Cameron Boozer being sort of the latest example because that boy good. Makes sense. I think that if we've learned anything in our time covering this league and trying to understand this league, it's that the rigors of the league go far beyond the court. And in fact, LeBron James is a perfect testament to this. The real work happens away from the court, and it happens inside the routines. It happens with those daily naps. It happens with all the body work that you have to do. It happens in all of these things. That is the hard part. And that's the stuff that no one teaches you, especially when you're coming up and you're just super talented and go dunk on some kid. And now, here comes a bag of money and all this stuff. No one ever teaches you how to not just sustain success, but to elevate success. And that all of that is happening behind the scenes. And this is just a classic testament to life. Like everyone who makes it look easy is working so damn hard. It might not be hard for them, but for anybody else, it would kill them. But they make it look easy. That's a point for natural talent coming into play as well. There's a lot of NBA players that, pop on a pod these days and they go, oh man, I didn't do any of that stuff. And you're like, man, what could have Quentin Richardson have done had he done any of that stuff? He could have been a hell of a ball player. Whereas, JJ Redick's like, I got to do, 702 shots, this and that. Like the rigors of all of that are so intense, and that is what separates good from great. That it's not surprising at all that people who are born with a genetic predisposition for athletic excellence, who also grew up in an environment where you saw what happens behind the scenes,
Yep.
that those people find success in the same realm. So I don't even know if it's Nepo, because there's a pejorative tone to Nepo baby in that, oh, this person just got this job because his dad knows this and that, or his mom knows this person or that person, and they just hired him. I do think that underestimates the institutional knowledge that comes from growing up in an environment where you do see success and understand what it takes, though that's not exclusive, that every Nepo baby has that. But it's not at all surprising that in sports we're seeing more and more, and it's never been it's never not been the thing. But I do think that more and more, as the level of exceptionalism to qualify is raised in these games, that we're going to see more and more people who have the double advantages of coming from great seed, if you will, sorry, and also understand that this ain't no game and aren't just winging it and trying to figure it out on the fly. And those advantages, I just don't think can be properly quantified. And I do think that they, pardon the term, metastasize into what we have now, which is a bunch of Nepo babies in sports.
We could do one more.
Okay.
We got to keep it 60 to 90 seconds.
Okay.
If you want to do it.
That's a super fun challenge. Let's go with 14.
Cancel culture.
You have the right to say anything you want. You don't have the right to avoid repercussions on the things that you say. It is not an argument against cancel culture. Is some very woke 1.0 stuff, kind of kumbaya-ish, a lot of nonsense, a lot of positives, but a lot of nonsense. Cancel culture is a gross generalization of people who want to run away from consequences, trying to villainize those who provide consequences. While at the same time, we can all understand that there are some people who are just aggrieved about everything all the time and try to find absentee vindication in discourse. The whole terminology itself needs to be canceled because it long ago lost any contextual meaning to what actually happens in the real world.
Speaking of things that are not of 2026, it just feels like cancel culture is not of 2026. It's just you're right. It's like a woke 1.0. It's like it's a thing that we talked about a lot more in a serious context a few years ago, and now it almost feels like a dated reference.
Well, because I think that we might be past the point of shame as a society.
Amen.
And that, in fact, it might actually be the trick, is to be shameless.
That's
and
the
now
secret.
that everyone else has figured out that it's the only way to get it done, maybe shame's coming back. Maybe that's my prediction for 27. Shame.
The return
coming back.
of shame.
Let's do it.
2027 will be a big year for shame.
Yeah.
Dieter Kurtenbach, you're the best. Thanks for coming on, man.
Anytime, Wes.